When did it happen? Sit down.
Thank you. About 4 o'clock yesterday, Callum Lithgow came into Ian Cameron's hotel, said his brother had taken a fall on the broch and that he thought he was dead. Ian telephoned us and I sent up our mountaineering expert. Constable Keith.
Oh.
He got a party together. They found Willie about 7 o'clock. He was dead, all right.
What part of the mountain?
He was on the scree at the foot of the tower. It seemed they'd been roping down to Agag's ledge.
No details yet?
Oh, no, Callum and his wife were badly shaken. They spent the night at the hotel. We'll be getting statements.
Was she climbing?
Oh, no, just the two brothers. You won't be handling this, Mr. Sutherland.
I don't think so, no.
No. Well,
Agag's ledges are very severe. I didn't know the Lithgows went in for that kind of climbing. Always associated them with the Ruya and the Ruya sheep.
oh, no, they did quite a bit of climbing together when they were youngsters. Then Willie went wandering off for some years, you remember. Came back about a year ago when the father died and Callum had taken over the Ruya.
Willie's the younger brother, isn't he?
No, he's a couple of years older than Callum. Well, I'll give the report to Mr. Duthie, shall I, sir? He tells me he's done a bit of climbing himself.
So I believe. Well, he may as well make use of it. You can go and take a look at the locus.
You're a climbing man, Mr. Duthie.
I used to climb quite a bit.
Ah, tiger, eh?
Oh, tame tiger, I'm afraid. I never had enough time.
Have you ever climbed in the broch?
No.
In the older maps, it had a different name. In the old Gaelic, it was known as the Vicious One. It can live up to that, too. Willie Lithgow wasn't the first.
Can you tell me what happened?
Not precisely. Callum wasn't very coherent. He was in some distress. He blamed himself.
Why?
A piton came out. It was Callum that put it in.
Can you show me where it happened? Or do you think I should go out and see for myself?
I can show you. It's an easy enough route with one bad pitch on it. A good scramble up the ridge here to the foot of the tower. But you can't climb the tower from this side, not without artificial pegs and ladders, you know.
Yeah, I know.
So if you're free climbing, you rope down to a ledge here, Agag's ledge. Traverse along the ledge, delicate, very exposed. Then up this chimney to the back of the tower. And it's another easy scramble from there to the top.
So you have to go down to go up?
Oh, not too far down, 50 feet maybe. But it's 300 feet from the ledge down to the scree where we found Willie.
And that's where he came off?
Roping down to Agag's ledge.
Well, why rope? Why not climb?
You should try it sometime, Mr. Duthie. Oh, it can be done.
It's a very good likeness.
Ian Cameron took it himself.
He's had ample opportunity, staring at it every day of his life.
I take it you know the broch?
Yes.
Well, who was Agag?
You should read your Bible. He was a gentleman who walked delicately. Desirable accomplishment on the ledge. That's why it's called after him. Have the police got their statements yet?
Callum Lithgow's with them now, I believe.
They're a respectable family.
Where is Ruya?
About 10 miles inland. The Lithgows have farmed it for generations. They're sheep of something of a reputation.
Well, that shouldn't be too much of a problem.
Good. Take that damn thing with you.
Sorry.
Good morning, Mr. Duthie.
Morning, Constable. Is this the gear?
That's it, Mr. Duthie. This Peton and the carabiner were still on the rope. And it was doubled through the descender and harness. He still had a grip on the rope. Instinct, I suppose.
Well, what's your opinion?
About what happened? Well, it's not
Off
really...
the record.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time a Peton's come out, would it?
What's the rock like on that pitch?
It's supposed to be good. But you can't always tell, can you?
No. Would you ask Sergeant McKechnie to let me have the report as soon as possible?
I will, Mr. Duthie.
Oh, was there anything else for me?
It's all on your desk. There's not much. Why do people climb?
Exercise.
Oh, you know what I mean. Anyone who's done a bit of climbing must know that something like this can happen. Why do they keep on doing it?
Oh, maybe they want to see the view from the top, or what's on the other side.
There must be more to it than that.
It's good for you.
Being killed.
He was unlucky.
So if he'd been lucky, what would it have meant to him?
An exercise in social relations. When two men go into a bad pitch, they have to trust each other. One makes a mistake, the other's gone.
Is that what happened?
Something like that.
I blame myself entirely.
Do you want that to go into your statement, Mr. Lithgow? You sure now?
Yes.
Very well. Is there anything further you'd like to add?
No, I've told you what happened.
Okay. Let's get that typed up, will you?
Right.
Now, you know this as well as I do. There's no need at all to go through life with a sense of guilt for something you've no control over. A piece of rock may look as sound as a bell, but who's to know that the weather's been working at it and that it's rotten underneath? Oh, pull yourself together now. Drink your tea. He's taking it very hard.
Wouldn't you? What about their backgrounds?
Callum runs the farm. Willie didn't get on too well with his father. He went wandering years ago.
Oh, where did he wander?
All over the place. He was in the Merchant Navy for a while. Came back about a year ago after the father died.
Did he work on the farm?
I doubt it. He wouldn't strain himself if he did. No, he was always popping off to Glasgow to see the bright lights.
Oh, so he liked the bright lights, did he?
He's a cheerful man. He's good company.
So, Callum's the farmer.
Like his father, nose to the grindstone. Shrewd, though. You wouldn't get anything over on him. I think it was really Callum who put the Ruya sheep on the map.
I gather he's got a pretty good setup.
Oh, he has got a good setup, and he's worked like a beaver for it.
Is he happily married?
I think so. Smart kind of girl.
Any children?
Not yet.
And relations between the brothers were good?
I haven't heard anything to the contrary. You can never tell with Callum. He's so wrapped up in the Ruya. I don't think he's got any real regard for anything outside of it.
Where is he? Has he gone back to Ruya?
No, he's down at the station. I thought you might want to see him.
Well, I better check with Mr. Sutherland. Can you hang on for a minute? Have you finished the report on that supermarket break-in yet?
Give us a chance. There's a lot to do.
So I see. Whatever happened to your diet?
I'll get that dram off you yet, boy. Bye.
Do you want to see the report on the climbing accident?
No. Just tell me. The bones.
Well, there's the usual thing about finding the body and so on. Oh, there is a point about the rope.
Good?
The peat on the carabiner was still on it.
Nothing else.
No,
You've examined it?
briefly.
Go on.
Callum Lithgow, he's deeply distressed. He blames himself.
A normal reaction, I suppose. Any particular reason?
Well, he was leading. It was he that put in the peat on. And Willie was out of practice. It was his first climb since he came back.
Whose idea was this expedition?
Oh, Willie's. Mrs. Lithgow confirms that.
The Broch's a tough starter.
Well, they had climbed there before. They knew the route.
It's not a route for a man who's out of practice.
Apparently, there's only the one bad pitch on it.
It's a very bad pitch. You've seen it, haven't you?
From the hotel.
You've not been up to it.
I didn't think it was necessary.
It might be worth it.
I think I know what happened.
Still, what does Callum say?
Well, he put in the piton, roped down to Agag's ledge. And then to give his brother more room on the ledge, he began the traverse.
There's no rope.
Well, Willie was using it to abseil down. Anyway, from what I gather, the first part of the traverse is easy.
That's right, yes.
You know this route pretty well.
Intimately. Go on.
Well, Willie was about halfway down when the piton came out. He went straight past Callum down to the scree at the foot. Callum got there as quickly as he could, but there was nothing he could do, so he went down to the hotel and Ian Cameron phoned the police.
When an experienced man goes climbing a mountain like the Broch, he accepts the element of danger. It's part of the deal.
Yes, that's what I think.
Sometimes it can be a damned rough deal, without reason or logic or justice. You can't foresee it, you can't fight it. You can only wonder till the end of your days at the malevolence of an inanimate object like a mountain.
Yes.
Well, it's up to you. An inquiry?
I think it'd be a waste of public money.
I'm inclined to agree. Either Willie Lithgow checked that piton before he started to rope down, or he didn't. If he didn't, it's his own fault.
Right.
All the same, there's something I'd like you to have a look at. One end seaman-like, the other a dog's breakfast. Sealed by heat. One of the advantages of nylon rope. A couple of matches would do it. And if you're lucky, it doesn't stick to your fingers and take your skin off. A farmer's job, would you say?
Well, it could be. One does one end, the other does the other. It's reasonable. Why do you think it's particularly interesting?
I don't know. It just is.
Well, it's new rope, in excellent condition. They weren't taking any chances with that.
Callum rope directly to the ledge.
Well, yes, I think so.
Might be worth having a word with him.
I'll get him, sir.
Sugar, Mr. Lithgow.
Not for me, thanks.
Your brother was an experienced climber. You climbed together a great deal in your youth.
Yes.
Were you very close?
Yes and no. We were brothers, but everyone liked Willie.
So I believe. Now, you put in the piton.
Yes. I thought it was in right, Mr. Sutherland. I thought it was sound. It sang as it went in, you can tell.
I'm told that the singing note of a piton going in isn't always a reliable guide.
It doesn't sing if it's not going in through. That is the point.
So you tested it carefully before you roped down.
That face goes straight down for 300 feet to the scree.
So you tested it and then abseiled down to Agag's ledge.
Yes.
You're familiar with this route?
We both knew it. But Willie had not been on it for some years, of course.
Did you have any difficulty when you roped down? You had no problem of any kind that might have put an additional strain on the piton? Weakened it a little, dislodged it slightly?
No, there was no problem.
Did your brother check the piton before he started to go down?
Oh, yes.
Well, how could you know? You're about 50 feet below him on Agag's ledge. There's a bit of an overhang. You couldn't see him.
Well, he was experienced. He was careful. I knew him.
And yet the piton came out. He fell.
It was awful. He just went past me, all arms and legs, yelling. You're right. It was my fault. He'd maybe got out of the habit. It was me that was careless. I should have made him go down first. I would have double-checked that piton. I'll never forgive myself.
Possibly not, Mr. Lithgow, possibly not. But I don't think you were careless. When men climb mountains, they must accept that there may be unexpected hazards. Don't you agree? Anyway, we've kept you long enough. It's been a distressing experience for you. You'll be glad to get home to the Ruya. How's Mrs. Lithgow bearing up?
She's very upset. She liked my brother.
I'm sure she did, like everybody else.
Mr. Sutherland, will there be an inquiry or anything? I mean, can I make arrangements for Willie?
I think you should proceed on the assumption that there won't be any difficulty.
Thank you.
See Mr. Lithgow out, Mr. Duthie, please, will you?
Duthie, could I have a word?
I'll be with you in just one moment, Sergeant. This way, Mr.
Looks like the fiscal's taken over this climbing thing, then.
Well, I hope not.
Why?
How long is it since you came to Glendora?
3 years. Why?
All over.
I don't know. He's got some sort of bee in his bonnet. You wanted to see me, Sergeant?
I was wondering what action the fiscal was going to take about wee Jamie Brown. His father's down at the station now, foaming at the mouth. We're going to have to arm the duty sergeant.
I've no idea. I'll have to
How
ask-
long is this rope?
Well, I didn't measure it. I expect the police did.
Yes, sir. 81 feet. The usual length's 120 upwards, but there's no long
They
feet
had to
in
rope
the
down to Agag's ledge with the rope doubled. That gives them 40 feet, 6 inches.
Yes.
Well, he's lying, Duthie. He couldn't do it.
Well, it would be a bit tight, but
Look, have you climbed this route?
not exactly that.
Then don't talk nonsense.
Well, he could have free climbed the last few feet.
I made a point of it. He said he roped down to the ledge without a problem. Anyone climbing the rock above Agag's ledge has problems.
Why should he lie?
Why does anybody lie?
But he was willing enough to take the blame on himself.
For a piton coming out, that's nothing. But suppose he let Willie go down first, and Willie came off the end of the rope.
That's pure speculation.
You think so? Well, accept it for the moment. Would that not be culpable?
But would it?
Callum knows that route. Willie hasn't climbed it for years. Callum must have known that 40 feet of rope wasn't enough.
But there's no evidence at all that Callum wasn't leading.
And there's no evidence that he was. For all we know, Willie could have come down first.
I'd come off the end of the rope. Well, all right, suppose that did happen. You could call it culpable. It's much more likely to be misjudgment. I thought you had compassion.
There is an alternative, but it's uglier. You know, I've often thought that the ideal way to commit murder is to take your intended up onto a mountain and then push him off a steep place. No witnesses, except you and God. And I have no compassion for murder.
You do not knock off your brother just because he doesn't like your sheep. I mean, there is no hard evidence that Callum's lying. Now, what is this? This is bee you've got in your bonnet.
He said there was no problem. He could not have abseiled down to Agag's ledge without a problem on that length of rope.
All right, you show me why not.
Very well.
And you'll still be guessing. Whatever happened on that mountain, you'll never prove it.
Perhaps not.
2 witnesses, you said. Well, you won't break Callum and the other won't help you.
I wouldn't be too sure of that.
I take it that Mr. Duff is referring to the Almighty, sir.
Right. We'll follow their route step by step.
You, sir?
Yes?
I'm sure that Constable Keith would be glad to take Mr. Duffy up the broch, if you didn't feel like it.
But I do feel like it. I think it's time I squared things with that lump of schist and porphyry. Hotel at 6.
Hello, Anne.
Hello, Hamish.
Is Ian in?
He's in the lounge.
Hello, Ian.
Hello, Hamish. How are you?
Fine, fine.
I see there's a couple of climbers on the broch and the glass dropping.
It's the fiscal and Mr. Duthie.
The fiscal.
I have to come back and pick them up here at 6.
Well, they're just about up to the ridge.
I might be lucky.
Hello! Some birds the weather's turning bad! Climbers going off the mountain. They don't trust the weather. Do you want to go back?
No, it looks all right to me.
Well, let's press on then. I think we'll just have time. That's the tower up there. We've got to get up to that ledge first. We'll leave the sacks over there.
All right.
Once we get up a bit more, we'll need pegs and ladders. So we'll rope down to Agag's ledge and do a traverse.
Down there?
Aye, you can't see it for the overhang.
We'll use Callum's rope.
Oh, I don't think that would be wise. A blade.
Why not?
Call it second thoughts, if you like.
That's why we brought it up here.
Watch. I just don't fancy the idea of running out of rope 2/3 of the way down.
You don't have to. I'll take a chance. You still haven't convinced me.
Well, if anyone's going down on Callum's rope, I'll go. I've done the route before.
I'm a little bit younger.
I'd hate to see youth cut off in its flower. Thread it through, will you?
How long since you've climbed?
5 years.
Oh, well, you're out of training. I've done a good bit since then.
Put the rest of it over the side. Just do it. How much of it below now?
Well, you've got 12 feet here, 60, 70 odd feet below.
Enough to get you comfortably down to Agag's ledge. So there's 60 odd feet missing here.
Missing?
Well, he cut it with a beaten hammer against a sharp edge like this.
Oh, you're making it all too easy. You're making it fit your own theories.
Well, it does fit. You'll admit that.
No, we don't even know for certain the rope is too short. We've only got your recollection for it. I mean, you said it yourself, 5 years. Your memory unsupported is not enough.
I have a very clear memory.
This is my case, isn't it?
Unless you wish to back out.
No, but it's not murder as far as I'm concerned till I get some real evidence.
Well, that's us about halfway through. Go and collect your evidence. But let's make sure that you don't kill yourself, too.
Is Constable Keith there?
Hello, Christine.
Oh, hello.
I'm just going up to the hotel. Would you like to come along for the ride?
You're a bit early, aren't you?
Ian Cameron phoned. He thought they might be coming off the broch sooner than they expected. Weather's getting a bit wild. But they should be past Agag's ledge by now. Well, finish what you're doing. There's no great hurry.
Isn't there?
No, there's nothing to worry about. They'll just get a bit wet.
Don't you know what happened last time he was on that mountain?
I'm just going to tighten this up a wee bit.
I'll do that.
Damn it, I can tie a rope.
I'm sure you can. But you're not going to tie this one.
What is the matter with you?
All right?
Yes.
Want to give up?
No.
There are other ways.
Oh, yes. Wait for better weather or call Constable Keith. You turned him down, remember?
Aye, I know.
What are you trying to prove? It's not just Callum, it's something else.
I'm not trying to prove anything. I just want to know what happened.
I know what happened. Callum told us. It makes sense. Why don't you believe him?
Because he's lying, Alec. Now go on. Find out for yourself. There may come a moment when it'll comfort you to know that you're securely belayed this time.
This time?
Go on, damn you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I see what you mean.
It's an interesting little scramble, isn't it? Not without its problems.
All right. He was lying.
We'll keep moving. We'll go down. There's no point in going up to the top of the tower. Anyway, the weather's getting worse.
I still don't think we'll prove anything.
This'll warm you up, Miss Russell.
Oh, thank you.
Are we dram for you, Hamish?
No sign of them. The visibility's right down. Slanger.
The last time I caught sight of them, they were starting to come down from Agag's Ledge. They should be well down the scree by now.
You don't think anything's happened to them?
No, I don't think so at all. Well, the Fiscal's a real good climber. And I would think Mr. Nothing knows what he's doing.
Cairn marks the spot.
Probably. Keith said he'd mark it.
He's a bright lad.
Here. You take this. That's your route down there through the scree. Pick up the sacks on the way. You'll be back in the hotel in under an hour.
My route?
I think Callum took a different one, and I'm taking his.
Well, I'll come with you.
No, I think it's important that one of us gets off this mountain intact, so to speak. Give me the red one.
I don't like the sound of that.
Oh, I have no intention of breaking my neck. Merely an elementary precaution.
The mist could come down before dark.
Oh, I'll be back by then.
If we've got what you wanted.
Not quite.
Well, we've got enough anyway. Leave the rest to the police.
It's not entirely a police matter. Off you go now. Down the scree. It's quite safe. You can run.
Right.
You left him up there just like that?
Yes,
Why?
because that's what he wanted.
It doesn't make sense.
Yes, it does. Well, up to a point. He wanted to follow what he believed was Callum's route from the top of the scree down here to the hotel. Ach, you know how thorough he is.
A dram for you, Mr. Duffy.
Oh, yes, thanks. I need it.
You could have stayed with him.
He preferred to be alone. He knows that mountain. I think he's got some sort of personal feud with it.
Quite right, Mr. Duffy. His wife was killed in the broch 5 years ago.
Why didn't he tell me?
I wouldn't think it would be something he would enjoy talking about.
But you know what happened?
They were climbing together. She was roping down to Agag's ledge and he came off. No one knows why.
No safety rope?
Yes, he had it on a safety rope. But she tied it on for herself and he didn't check it. Thought she tied it incorrectly.
He said he thought Callum came down by a different route, not by the scree.
There's no other route that wouldn't be in a big detour. He would come down by the scree, all right.
Why?
Because he was in a hurry. I think he was hoping that Willie still had a spark of life in him.
Would he come down by the gully?
Never. No one would ever come down by the gully, not if he was in his right mind. And never if he was in a hurry.
Which gully?
It's the only other route off the mountain on this side, apart from the scree.
Well, what's wrong with it?
The drainage line. Wet and dirty, full of rotten rock. There's a rock fall in there every now and again. No one ever goes into it.
I wouldn't bet on that.
Even if he came down by the gully, Mr. Duthie, he should have been here within half an hour of yourself.
That depends on what he was doing.
What would he be doing in the gully?
He didn't tell me what he had in mind.
You're very sure of yourself, aren't you? Why didn't you let them go and look for him when they wanted to?
He wouldn't have thanked them.
How do you know? How do you know you're not going to be very sorry about this? Couldn't the police have gone up tomorrow and do whatever had to be done? It's their job, isn't it?
Makes sense now.
What does?
He's getting it out of his system. I think he's sat at his desk for the past 5 years hating that mountain.
I've known him longer than you have. I think it would take something a lot more practical to keep him out in this.
Like what?
How should I know? I only type and make the tea.
There's 2 or 3 lads would come out with us.
Well, I think it's about time.
I just hope it's not too late. Mr. Duthie, I am not prepared to wait any longer.
It is up to you.
There's a shepherd and a gilly and 1 or 2 others who know the broch, all ready to go, waiting in the bar. Will you join us?
No.
Alec!
I've told you what I think.
You've had a hard day already. I understand.
That's got nothing to do with it. Where do you intend to look?
On the street to begin with.
Well, you won't find him there.
I don't think he would come down by the gully.
Because you don't think Callum did.
Callum wasn't too much of a hurry.
To save Willie's life?
Hoping to?
He knew damn well Willie was dead.
That's not the impression he gave when he came down off the mountain.
That's not the impression he meant to give, because he killed him. He cut the rope when Willie was on the abseil down to the ledge.
Murder?
We'll have a job proving it.
But the Peton came out. It was on the rope.
He put it there afterwards.
Why would he come down by the gully, Mr. Duthie?
Nobody ever uses it.
Climbers give it a miss because the rock's bad and the tourists don't like the look of it.
So if you happen to drop something there, it would lie for a long time.
Donkey's years. Were you thinking of anything in particular?
I'm a damn fool. I've only just thought of it now. Yes, I will come with you.
Are you all right, Mr. Sutherland?
I'm fine. Constable, you'll need a grappling iron. You've got a 20-foot drop, and the water's a good 10 foot deep.
What is it? 60 foot of rope with a rock tied on as a sinker, right?
Right. Motive. Not that we need one.
Oh, there was a motive, all right. I checked the old man's will. Ruya was left jointly to Willie and Callum, equal shares.
Willie wasn't trying to take over, surely.
No, the other way round. Willie had taken a notion to go wandering again. He wanted Callum to buy him out.
Wouldn't that have suited Callum well enough?
I had a word with his bank manager. He was already mortgaged up to the eyebrows.
Everything invested in Ruya's stock, huh?
Had to sell most of it. He'd been back just about where he started after all that work and sweat. And you see, whatever he did, half of Ruya would have belonged to a stranger to his way of thinking. They had a big row about it 2 or 3 days ago. Willie was determined to sell, whether to Callum or to somebody else, and Callum was desperate to keep the place in Lithgow hands.
Highland pride.
Call it that if you like.
It looks as if he acted on the spur of the moment. I don't think there was any premeditation.
Maybe he was thinking of his son.
He hasn't got one.
Well, Mrs. Lithgow's 2 months pregnant. Callum's convinced it's a son and heir.
We'll have to get Callum gathered into the fold. You better have a word with Inspector Mingus.
Very well, sir.
I could do with a cup of that.
Just coming, Mr. Sutherland.
Anyway, you've beaten it.
Beaten what?
Your lump of schist and porphyry.
I don't know what you mean.
You should read your Bible. First book of Samuel, chapter 15, verse 32. I'll have a cup of that, if I may.
Is there a Bible in this lot?
Yes, there is.
1 Samuel, chapter 15, verse 32.
Got it.
Read it.
And Agag came unto him delicately, and Agag said, Surely the bitterness of death is past.
Yes. Thank you. Never underestimate that young man.
Agag?
No, not Agag.